the first step you want to take after you think you have an idea. Students spend 3 months just speaking with all customers. And this is very important because you get insight from them whether the product which you are thinking of doing is it good or not. And the reason the startups fail is not because they are unable to make a product, it's because they are unable to sell it. Right? I think the easiest thing is to make a product. The hardest thing is to find the actual end customers who will buy it. So just as an exercise, we all heard about this story about the ambulance. So if you want to sell the product, an individual in the hospital has to write the check. So it's not the actual hospital, it's someone inside the hospital. So the question is who or what. Right? So instead of spending all your time in designing the product and the hardware and software, it's good to know who's the individual who's writing the check, who's the individual who's influencing the process of writing the check. Because it's not always clear that the end user is the same as the person who writes the check. Right? So in this case, the end user is the patient. Right? And he's thinking that the person who will write the check, not sure. Is it the director of the hospital or the doctors who's seeing all the patients? Is it Andhra Pradesh government? I'm not sure. So in that sense, it's very important to actually identify motives at the outset. And after that, I think it's easier to step back and say, I need to introduce all these features in the product. So in that sense, I think the first step is trying to speak with at least 100 people out there. And this is also very useful because once you design the product, you already have your 100 people who are interested in buying this product. So it's much easier to sell. However, if you took the other way, in which you spend 6 months, a year, 3 years, designing all the cool features of the app, everything, and then you think that now I'm going to pass 100 rupees in terms of each app download, it's not clear that it's going to work. Right? So I think I would encourage you to start speaking about your ideas clearly with the end customers. Is in the packaging, then you need to highlight that, right? So because and I'm not sure that the design of the package is novel because it looks very appealing to look at, or it has some actual usefulness. And so then I think it's useful to think about how many other players are there in this eco-friendly business. I'm not sure about that. I think I would be surprised around the world if nobody is using eco-friendly.
In India, nobody is using it. After even they are not using it, people put innovative packaging.
Well, so I think you would think that at Tata, we have all these people who just have degrees in IITs and IIMs. So we should think about the reason. So it must be they had a good reason they didn't think about it or they didn't implement it. Right? There's a good reason they did not implement it. Because they are, they have all the smart individuals in there. So there's a good reason they did not implement it. So it's good to speak to those people, not saying. So in that sense, it's very important to speak with end customers as well as the people who are already in the existing business. If there are some obstacles in doing it. Is it technology? Is it the revenues? Is it the scalability? And is it the need? All these things are something we need to think about.
It's ultimately you're talking about research in the market.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And it's not just the end users. It's not just like us who are thinking it. It's also the people who are making it. Right? And trying to ask all the questions.
Can I add to it? If I have to add to it, since you have managed, Coca-Cola has launched Dasani in Europe, especially in Europe and UK. And the immediate 1 week after the launch of Dasani as a product of mineral water, the same counterpart that we have in India is Kinley. So Kinley's counterpart in Europe is Dasani. But Dasani is not accepted by Europe and UK. You know why? Because pricing is interesting, make it, then it will be sold. I think that would be the best strategy.
Pricing you compare the Patanjali with other products.
Okay.
There were the innovative ideas that came to the market, but the prices of the product is very similar to the other one.
Okay.
So pricing it can be like we can keep a margin. We cannot go less than that or we use it.
Yes, your reach, your process, your source, the way you have, position yourself matters at the same time. And India is very price sensitive at all the time, right? Please do consider that also if I can. But if I really could tell you that about Dasani, you will see how what are happening in developed nations for single body.
Yeah, Himalaya is using that concept in India.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Can you say that? Yeah.
Because because in the short term you might obtain some revenue, however in the long term you won't be able to do that. So don't use pricing as a model.
I just want to take this thought differently. And personally now involved in, I think the startup is very early stage, but it's a very interesting idea which this company is trying to do. There is a concept called traceability. The traceability means, suppose you are buying a product, the origin to the place, right? Like farm to plate is what is the concept. So today I think from next year onwards, probably in the next 2 years, anything you want to export outside, it has to be traceable. For example, you are exporting mango to Japan. Japanese customer is legally, you are supposed to legally disclose all your data, where this farm was existing, who was the farmer, where exactly is the seed, at what conditions that guy is the seed, is he using toilet before he touching the fruit, to that extent data has to be disclosed. So this company now, since it is going to be future, because by 2020 the idea is India or probably the entire world is going to face food security as well as secure food problem. So bioterrorism is something is coming in the way. So this company, this startup is trying to scheme where the farm to plate the entire time. So after farm is been collected, that the output is collected, which train or which truck is been loaded, at what conditions the truck is, the temperature conditions inside the truck, and where which flight it has gone, where it is landed, and from there it is going to, suppose you are eating a banana. So today I think we are also developing a prototype. I am not sure whether it is succeeded or not. We are going to develop a pen, and I can put this pen inside the water and see that, like temperature, you can see that something is good or bad. So I will have a minimum ingredients of whatever is required, I will know. Probably as a company, you will actually supply pens first and make sure that you release your volume. Who knows, you will be kind of becoming a disruptive innovator. See, if I have time, I want to tell you one story, real story which happened very recently. I think this story has created a revolution in the history. Maybe I want to stand and tell the act and speak what exactly this company has done. Can I go? Is it fine? Okay. So it's my friend. He's from Ahmedabad. I was actually from Bangalore, but I think we brought four people and I cremate them. Who donate something, I give on them in this manner. Then suddenly he found very interesting. Then he asked one question. How many bodies to collect every day? Approximately 10 to 12 bodies. Then he asked next question. What time your first body comes? Around 6 o'clock in the morning. What time your last body comes? Maybe around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock. What time cremation ground closes? Around 5 o'clock in the evening. How many bodies you collect after 5 o'clock? Then he says at least 2 to 3 bodies. Then he asks Rishabh, where do you keep those bodies? Because cremation ground is already closed. Then this man says, I keep these bodies in my home. I have 3 daughters. My second daughter is 7 years old and she has a habit of keeping hands and legs on me while she was sleeping. But unfortunately, most of the times, she keeps her hands and legs on these bodies. She's shocked. One day, one side you are talking about great India, other side you are also talking about great India. So what kind of disparity it is? Then this man is an Anshu Gupta. I think you have seen last year, he got Asia's Nobel Prize, which is Raman Magsaysay Award for his organization called Poonch. Then immediately this man said, there's something wrong in this whole website. Then he asked, when do you collect most of the bodies? Then the Rishabh says, during the December season, November season and January season, their peak summer, peak winter is there. people from Noida borders, Bihar borders, and Gurgaon, and all these places I just go and collect. Then he asks why they are dying. Then immediately he says that there will be a lot of cold outside, so hence they die. Then immediately he called his wife. I am going to take half for 1 week. Will you allow? Then wife said, okay, go ahead. Then immediately he calls his boss. I want to take half for 1 week. Yes, you can go ahead. Then immediately this guy went around with this pressure cooler, started collecting old dead bodies and cremating them. He was doing only this exercise for 7 days. Then after that he realized that people are not dying because of something else, poverty or whatever, abandonment, or people are dying because lack of clothing. Then he thought something I need to do. Then immediately he called his wife. My dear wife, can you support me? I want to quit my job. Then wife says, yes, okay, go ahead, but why? I want to do free cause. I want to give clothing for the poor who are unable to buy clothes. Then she was just graduate at that point of time. She said, I want to work as a front office somewhere and I will support you. This guy resigned his job and he was on the roads. He collected old clothes from around like any of us, and he collected these clothes and started distributing at various places. Then one fine day, he got a slap on his face. It is not a physical slap, it is a mental, emotional slap. What happened? He said, one guy said, you are giving me some dupatta or something, but it is not, I am not a beggar, I am just poor. I still my art is not accepting it. Then it is a slap. What am I doing? Every day I am collecting and my life sacrifice, I am giving all this, I am distributing all this, these guys are not taking. Then he thought something I need to do differently. I need to sell this same company or same drug to this guy. What he has done? He started taking his old clothes and started tearing off. He applied 2 tailors and he started making restitching the same thing differently, and some of these jeans concept like cutting and all that came that point of time. And he ran on the roadside and tells that 3 rupees each cloth. People mad at poor people, beggars, everybody was buying things because it was very simple thing which they can buy, and self-esteem is upward. And he is buying something, it's a hard. And people started taking 3 rupees each. And one first day probably I think his revenue was 64 rupees or 68 rupees. Few months back, personally I met him in Hubli where Deshwanda Foundation is there. I was asking, Anshu, I am asking unofficially, don't record it. Even it is applicable to the record here as well. You are doing a charity, you are doing a collecting a lot of things, and you are collecting a lot of many